You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net. freedomtalkradio.net.
Alright, we're on, guys. Just in the nick of time as well. No, the painting, I called it, I'm pretty sure I called it the Hall of Judgment. To me, it was about walking down this very long corridor toward the light that was a very long way down. This is what was in my mind as I was doing it. It was all about the judgment. Oh my God, the further and further you go.
It's like a pyramid from above.
I know, but that's yes, secondary. My thought was walking down this very long toward the light at the end, and all the way, step by step, like going through the judgment, if you like, as everything kind of gets very small and falls away, and people start to feel very small as they're going through judgment, like know thyself, that you're, yeah. Yes, anyway, we covered that yesterday. But yes, it was later, after seeing this, that somebody, first of all, I got abused by a Christian, that it was occult and whatever. But it was David Clues who actually said it looks like the top of the pyramid with the, and of course it does. So it's reflective. It's that parallel. What do I call it? Pathetic, prophetic parallel again. But in my mind was judgment, walking through the corridor, the hall of judgment.
And how did you do it? White background, then gold, then black, or
oh yes, always. Let me think. Yeah, white background, and then gold over the entire canvas, and then I mask it all. Just the masking tape and paint in the areas that want to be black, that kind of thing. So let's get down to today is Thursday, the 21st of May, 2015, and it is 12:03 p.m, high noon, 3 minutes ago, and we're at the home of the Christ, who is Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall. I'll just read out his titles. I wrote this message to John. I'll go on. I don't need to go over there. Okay, the Lord Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, the Comforter, the Holy Ghost, God Almighty, King of Judah, King of Israel. All right? Often when you see royals on the planet, they've got names this long. Well, these are the titles. Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall is the name, the new name of the Revelation. 3:12, the name written that only he would know. And if only he would know it, he has to declare it to the world, which is what I think the 3:12 means in Greek. It means to declare, make known. You can look that up just to check me out, babe. I haven't got my program open this morning. But anyway, bottom line is, if it's the name that only he would know, written and only he would know, then he has to be the one. Speak, tell, show. That's what he's been doing since the advent of internet, which is the lightning flashing under heaven, east to west in a nanosecond, yada, 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 as I've explained many times before. And we better get Yah's g'day in right now.
It's also from Hebrews 3:09, strange.
Strange. He is totally strange. Unexpected.
Late. That's late.
Hi guys, you're already over in the chat room. There's John and Rodney. Thanks for coming on over, and I'm sure Hiran is about to wake up. and join really soon. I've forgotten completely what I was about to say next.
You was
Perhaps
going
there
on
was
about my name.
Oh, your name. All right, Revelation
Marriage
3:12.
certificates.
Yes.
We should also say that John in his work has been able to trace out the bonding of money placed on a person, and you got mine the other day, and the bond usually is placed around January and matures around January.
Well, it's always your birth month. It's your birth month.
And what you had is up to nearly $200,000.
Well, yeah.
It's sitting there.
Yeah.
And there is if you're an American, there is a way of grabbing the money.
There's a process, and John's in the middle of searching all of that
We
out.
wanted to do it for myself, of course, and because I'm not in America, it makes it more difficult to do. We have to find a way of doing it for Australia. But,
it's a matter of knowing how. Anyway, John's searching.
But it was a lot of money.
Yeah, of course it is, but we're not focusing on that now. Let's backtrack up to, hello, Herad, you're here. How are you feeling? Give us a report, please. Like all of this that has happened between, to Kat and John.
If you had a vote
for a
on this,
purpose.
the listener would say, let's talk about the money.
This all leads to it. It's a process to be able to control the credit which is attached to your birth certificate. And John has already discharged tens of thousands of debt before he went back to the Bahamas. Now, also too, John just clarified every month the attachment to those. John, did you calculate roughly the worth that you were able to find out attached to your social security number? And yes, so that's every month for the running of each issue of the bond. Am I right, John? Anyway, Yah wrote the book, information gathered, and wrote the book for the sake of luring those who were, and it's mostly information exposing it all, and also the lure. But the bottom line is the kingdom. He overtakes and he overturns. Now the kingdom is what I've been talking about.
So the money changes, and the temple's all about.
That's right, overturning the money changes. They've set up the evil of the system. There's actually nothing wrong with the system. It's just who's controlling it. So it's an overtaking of the system. What does it boil down to? Well, basically, they have put aside to take care of every soul on the planet by, creating currency or whatever through a bonded birth certificate. Well, that's okay as long as you tell people how to use it and how to control
you get hold of the bloody thing.
That's the part that they haven't told. They've used it for themselves, so you die in ignorance, and then, indebtedness and all the rest of it. When given an equal playing field and knowing the rules of engagement, if you like, then you can control it, which is what they do, and which is what John has already done, and others have already done that out there. Anyway, so getting down to today, Kat has been detained when she is the wife of John. Now, didn't matter when she landed. They landed more than a year ago in the Bahamas, but she was his wife. It was actually October 2013. She landed there as his wife. John is a citizen of the Bahamas. So she has been, even by their own rules, illegally detained, and John was on his way to discharge the debt against her, brought about by the court, etc., which is all totally illegal by their own rules. But anyway, it's playing out now. Why? Because John is in the position where he has to dig deeper still. All of the information that he learned, dug deep for, and was putting into practice came to a halt some time ago, and now he's pulling it all out. Everything he's learned, he's pulling it out, and he's having to put it into practice, reacquaint himself. This is the very thing that they have feared, and why all of his gear was stolen in Maine, because in that he had 5 copies of his birth certificate apostilled, and he was on his way to releasing the bondedness, if you like, the straw man attached, so that he could then control his own credit attached to his birth certificate. So he was on the way to doing it when suddenly everything in Maine is stolen, and is why the judge in Florida, correct me if I'm wrong, John, the judge, when he gets to Florida, immediately released him and said, well, just let me know where you are, when she realised that he was a wake-up to the scam of the system. The point is that the kingdom, if you read the scriptures about the holy city, there's only those that God says can be allowed into the holy city will be allowed to pass the gates. Why? Well, how about a kingdom passport? Unless you belong to the kingdom, then you'll not be able to enter in the gates. So throughout all this, I've appointed John. He is our record keeper. He is going to design. John is a doer, to be a doer of the word. John, I've appointed him. He can be the registrar, if you like, or the record keeper of the kingdom. And I've said design a, not call it a marriage certificate, but as the Essene tradition is, when God puts together two people, as Catherine and John have been put together by Yahweh, as believers in him, they are called out and blessed by Yahweh. And as you know, that the act of marriage is the consummation and the beginning of the marriage. Now, biblically, call it going unto her. That is the act of marriage. So for the sake of having...
And loving it.
So for the sake of having a commemoration, if you like, of that, I said, John, we'll design something beautiful. There's many templates out there. Don't call it a certificate, whatever. We'll call it the Essene Marriage Act. Marriage Act of Yahweh. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But for the sake of having a record and signed by Yah and stamped with a royal seal, which I also told John he can design the royal seal for us, please. Yah's done all of this work. We've both done all of this work. John, you're very creative. Others out there are really creative. Now let's put it into effect. Enough of the information gathering and all of the knowledge. You've got it all. Put it together and let's create something beautiful. And each Essene Marriage Act, acknowledged by Yahweh, which is the record from the kingdom, can be personalised for each one of each couple who have been called out and brought together by Yahweh. Whatever is beautiful and means the most to... But as long as the titles of Yahweh are very clear there as the one authorising. Yeah, authorising. As Adam Yates has been so brilliant.
They have to say, you ain't God. All right, prove it.
Well, this is what Adam Yates has been saying over and over and over. Everything has gone unrebutted. There has been no rebuttal. If there's no rebuttal, it's like the Queen having no counterclaim. She can't counterclaim because she does not have a superior body of evidence. How can she? She's just Elizabeth. You are, and your body of evidence is Yahweh's ledger, which is recorded in the measure of your temple, etc., etc. So now's the time to get these things together. Now with electronics technology, things can be designed very quickly. You can make them colourful, you can make them black and white, doesn't matter.
The certificate should also release all people from the bondage of their straw man account. So therefore it has to be handed over to them.
Yes, yeah, this is something, yeah, well, it's
part of the marriage, right?
Yeah, because actually it's the marriage unto Yahweh himself as the wife of Christ, being all female souls. Anyway, John, I'm sure you'll work it all out. I've just laid it. That's his job from now on. And Catherine is his assistant. So think about in the heavenly realm, it was Peter on the gates, the pearly gates. Well, it's John. Where's your kingdom passport? See, this is again bringing very much down to earth. Heaven comes to the earth. These things are real. and nobody gets in because nobody gets in unless Yahweh says so, and that means being known by him, of course, being known. The holy city, everybody knows each other, knows who you are, and nobody gets by him if they are atheists, unbelievers, murderers, dogs, sorcerers, whores. They're all howling on the outside of the holy city. So let's make it real. Let's bring it down to in effect.
Children get a pass, that's it.
Yes, children get the pass. Now, let's see what the guys have been saying in the chat room. Good morning, good afternoon. Ross, you're in there. And when I asked Herod how he was feeling, he said he was listening to his body, etc. Does it make noises? I'm always experimenting with health, feeling better and better, finding the equilibrium for me, listening to my body, etc. Ross says harrow all, as in,
Harrow.
harrow all. He's been to Centrelink, so he's had a harrowing time. Just got back from Centrelink, been dancing with him here at Marrickville for 2.5 years. Strawman, fraud, bonded slave system. The whole office staff is aware. Just had staff member doubting Thomas admit out loud in front of customers that yes, Ross, the whole system is a fraud and is about to collapse soon. Good one, Ross.
That's a good one.
Good one. You got them to admit the whole system is a fraud and is about to collapse soon. Hallelujah. So, John, you're under Catherine's name. You've just been handed the whole get our system going now. And I also let them know that BLGM is here in Oz now and that they need to look after all people now. I'm having a massive deja vu. Good on you, Ross. Well done. John says, thinking. Rodney, hello. Can't wait to meet her. Been lonely. Well, she's out there somewhere. Your soulmate. Everybody's soulmate is out there somewhere. And you don't want to get hooked up with people too quickly. If you're on your own, just be patient. Like Joel has been here with us for years, and he just said, I'm not interested in anybody, literally, until after the culling, the reaping. Just being patient, because you've all had your experiences of being hooked up with devils. Be patient. That's all I can say. And Rodney says, the smiley face on my profile was given to me by Yah in the sky. I would gladly give it back with nuts. He likes cashews and macadamias. Yes, patience is key.
Wouldn't go for macadamias either, you know, they put all sorts of chemicals on them.
Oh, spraying them up here in Oz. The woman that her animals started dying. Yeah, next door neighbour, macadamia nut farm. I don't know why they do. I mean,
they don't want to kill you.
I know that on that, but anyway. So I mean, a macadamia nut is surrounded by very hard. It's impenetrable except through a vice, which is what we used to do as children.
It goes to the roots. Goes to the leaves, down to the roots, and straight up.
Yeah.
Because it all falls on the ground and it absorbs it. And that's what it's all about.
Going out with nuts. This is what
I always have.
No, Rodney, this is what Rodney meant, going out with nuts, yes. All right, Rodney, I'm glad you clarified that. Glad you clarified that. How are we going? 19 minutes is... 19
minutes of fun.
The 19 minutes of fun. Have
you what?
I don't have anything else left to say.
Well, what about the Gematria we found?
Oh, of course. This is where I hand it over to you because you've been working on the miracles. Right, go. Take it away, babe.
If you look up the latest Shroud of Turin for today, there's a fellow in there, he's got this raucous music, very annoying, but he's quite a smart fellow, and he's very, very diligent going into the Shroud of Turin. Of course, he never answers anything I post, but it's probably just censored anyhow. But he come up with all these different phrases determining what Jesus is, and put it into a Gematria calculator, and he come up with the number 1128, and he's all going through this, and he thinks it's quite spectacular, which it is. However, when you go to the concordance numbers, it is to be naked and to be speared with a lance. Like, that's about it, isn't it? So, what he does, he points out in this video, and his other videos, all worth watching, of the many, many times that the shroud has been examined. They leave out a lot of points, and that is how many men in history were crucified, scourged, stabbed, legs not broken, and with a crown of thorns. None except one. So the prophecies of Isaiah were all fulfilled. And then, as we said the other day, what they don't talk about is that this magnificent cloth, it's a herringbone, very, very expensive at those times, and the linen had to be wound by hand. You know, with the 12th century they invented the spinning wheel. Well, in the old days it was done by hand. It was a little bit different. So, and they got it all perfectly right, how many threads there are to make up the shroud itself. And there's 169.4 threads per square inch, and that is Emmanuel. And so you go on to do mathematics from that. So you can work it out how many threads there are, which I've done, how many threads there are in length on the shroud at 169.4 per inch. You can work it out by squaring it and then times 7353. So this is what he has actually zeroed in on. That what is the mathematical odds? Now, one of his videos, he comes up with 282 billion to 1 that this would be the case, with all these things matching up on the shroud. So what they did some years ago, as you know, in 1988, they did that fake carbon 14 rather, and come up with the year of 1260 to 1390 or something like that. But they took the patch off the small edge on the bottom left, and it had a few threads going back to the original shroud because they'd been done meticulously, wound together by the Poor Clare nuns who repaired it after the fire in 1532, December the 4th. December the 4th is important because that's King William the Lion's birth date in 1143, and he died in 1215 on the same date, 72 years of age. And if you look it up in history, you find that they have changed that to 1 year less to make it 71 for some odd reason, which I haven't been able to figure out why. But it must have something to do with the Magna Carta because it came out during his lifetime and he was alive when it was signed, right? So there's probably something to do with that. So as it turns out, the numbers from the Shroud of Turin was all rubbish, of course, because they had the piece of cloth which had a few fibres of the original cloth in it because it was wound together. And of course scientists found out, a young lady and her husband found out, and she is since dead, so what's that to you? And shouldn't be because she's been a young woman. So they probably killed her. And stopped people doing any more research, doesn't it? But when they did the date, of course, it took into consideration that there were a few threads off the original shroud which made it older, which they didn't really anticipate because of the extra threads being twirled together for this invisible mending. So when they chopped it out, they inadvertently made a mistake by cutting a bit of the shroud with it, which put the date back to earlier than what they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be later, around the 15th century. So Leonardo da Vinci can be the maker of it, right? That's what I was aiming at, but they balls that up. So as it turns out, because the media and everything is controlled by whether it be YouTube or newspapers or anything at all, it's all controlled by the same beast. So they pump out, it's a fake, it's a fake, it's a fake, constantly. Yet when you go look at it within 2 seconds, they come in and say, well, it can't be fake because of these reasons. So therefore, then they say, well, this is what happened. They took the wrong piece. And then if you dig a little bit deeper, you find 25 wealthy men put up the money for the carbon 14, and the English fellow, he got £1 million for his new lab.
Well, their findings after the announcement was made, wasn't it?
So does it sound like there's a little bit of skullduggery going on? Well, because it doesn't really matter whether they yap on about it or not, because if you're that dumb and you haven't looked at all of the Shroud videos, then to realise that, of course, it's a real thing. And that's what the basis of. It's already a done deal. The Pope recognised me because I look like the Shroud. Right? He's not interested in numbers. His numbers were all proof is, right?
Yes.
He doesn't care about that.
No.
I look like him. You know? And what we're doing up in Papua New Guinea, and of course I've already told you, or we've told you, and when I say we, I mean I, I mean her and I. And sometimes I say I, but I don't mean I mean her. And especially when there's something wrong. So they set the date of the Redemption Day, where they are inviting God to come and rule their country.
Repentance Day.
They got two of them, 2 days. So we got Repentance Day on the 26th of August 2011. Of course, I've done all the stars for that, my age, etc. And it's all this marvellous tapestry that comes together. So, as I've said about New Guinea, it's a done deal. I'll just drift in till the 28th of September. I don't have to go there. If I do go there, it wouldn't make much difference really. It's already a done deal. It is what it is. They have done that. Now, what happened was when we first went there, we had a man that who dreamed that Jesus would come and cure him.
Yeah, Jimmy. People.
And of course, he is of the Sepik nation.
Sepik province.
Sepik province. And a lot of people up there. You probably look it up on the internet. Look it up now. How many people in the Sepik area? So they all are convinced because of our curing of all of their peoples. And at one stage there, we were sending calcium hypochlorite, and he went up north to the Sepik for his relatives and his tribal relations. And he took the cures, and I told him to sell them to make some money. Like if you've got a cure, you can buy a beer for bloody $2 or whatever. Why can't you buy a pill for 50 cents? Right? That's going to cure you of malaria and AIDS and everything else. So he did. And he made enough money to pay $800, I think it was. Or
800 kina.
Kina. Well, it's about $400
return
roughly.
fare, yeah.
And he's got to live. And to pay his fare back down from up there. His wife, on the other hand, she did something that wasn't too nice. And we were sending money up to them to support them, and equipment, whatever was needed. And she was doing a lovely job. She's the lady that's on the interview that was done by a guy called Stephen Marshall for the ABC television network in Australia. And what she did, we were paying the school fees for her daughter, plus food, plus whatever they needed.
Every week I was sending what we could. 250 kina, yeah. 250
kina, which is a lot of money from them up there at the time.
Well, at the time.
But she got her daughter on the phone talking to me, and then I heard her whisper to her daughter to say that she was hungry. In other words, she was trying to get more money out of me. So at that point in time, I said, all right, get stuffed. Well, Jimmy would have been horrified by that because he's the type of fellow that is very spiritual, very honest, straight up and down.
Doesn't use games.
And he would have been quite upset by that. And of course, what did it cost her? She ended up, some years later, coming down with kidney disease and went into hospital and had a heart attack. Well, they probably killed her.
Could have. She was supposed to go to New York. She said she was chosen. It's why we organised her.
Well, that's right.
Sent her the extra to get her passport, etc. And then it didn't end up happening.
She was going to go to New York for an AIDS conference, and she had the cure of AIDS. Well, that to stop that, right?
Yes, totally. So there's much to. We'll fund.
But soon I took my hand off her because I was just pissed off that she would, after I've cured her and her husband and the bloody village of AIDS, and we're receiving money from us, and then have to whisper in the daughter's ear to see if she could beg some more money out of us
As a
by
manipulation.
being deceitful.
Yeah.
So I said, that's it. Take my hand off her. And that's what happened. She went and died.
And so
But Jimmy's fine.
Yeah, Jimmy and all the villagers are fine. He said, "Oh, everybody's well."
You get the
Everybody
population of set?
Yes, I have. It's 2011 census, 450,530 people. The total area in square kilometres is 43,426 square kilometres, which is 16,767 square miles.
Yeah. So these are very lovely people. In fact, tall. Most of them are tall and slender.
Quite dark.
Quite dark
But they
skin.
live up high.
Very, very dark skin.
Yeah.
And they believe. So that's it. Now this is the nation I have chosen for several reasons. We'll just go back in history a little bit.
Yes, this was from the beginning. Before we went there,
Before we went there.
The nation.
But the age I was when it became independent of Australia was 31.68 years, and just to be annoying to those just coming in, that's the distance measured from Jupiter to all the inner planets, including Saturn. Because those planets, including the Sun, is my body weight of 222 pounds, is the same as the area of the Shroud of Turin, 7353. But it also lined up at another point in time, in 2004, and also another point in time when the Jupiter was struck by the 21 comet fragments that spelled out at that point in time mountains hurled by God. Right, you recall that?
Yes.
So we have then 31.68 astronomical units on my birthday, which lines up with the 31.68 years, which is the 16th of September in 1975, my age on that date when New Guinea got its independence. So it's a slam dunk right there. I didn't have to go any further, except when we went there, of course, took the cures. Well, the people are very religious, about 93 or 4 or 5% are Christians. And, of course, all the Christian cults up there, the various types. The Catholic Church is also up there. And when we was up there, the Catholic Church rejected me, of course. And when we talked to some nuns, I just didn't want to know, and off they went. So we got the cure for AIDS. Oh, so see you later.
And we went, remember, with Helen, cured.
Well, we
and
went
she
out to
took
this
us
lady
out there.
we had cured. She had been in a sort of a compound which was run by a priest.
Yes.
And he didn't want to know about AIDS cure because she was
absolutely.
getting paid to look after these people, right? So
Yes.
all these women in there,
Yeah.
they couldn't get
This
out
was-
of prison, if you like. And who knows what and how they got their AIDS.
Right.
But the point is, they were diagnosed with it.
Yes.
And he didn't want to know because
No.
it would mean he'd lose his income
Yeah.
if all these ladies were cured and have to go home.
So she goes back there to, hey,
She's
I'm
telling through
cured.
the fence.
I'm cured, look, I feel great. And she was
Now later on, she
starting to
ripped
put
me
on...
off for $1,000.
Oh, yeah, totally. But yeah, she was putting
That's
on...
good and the bad, right?
She was putting on weight again. She got her hunger back, and she was eating and feeling good and strong and telling everybody. But yeah, she had to rip us off. She couldn't help herself but to steal.
Cured the family as well.
Yes, her brother. Oh, anyway, that's what
He was
they
all
do.
right. Mother was all right.
Anyways,
But they have this amazing ability to come up with ways of weasel money out of you.
yes. Opportunists.
Opportunities.
Uh,
Well, not all of them. Don't
No,
say
not
all
all.
of them.
No, and that's what Mary
Well,
was.
Lucy, right?
Mary would say over and go, and this is what she had against the Papua New Guineans. Mary
That's
being
what Mary had
Fijian.
against those particular Papua New Guineans. She was
Well, you know, in her mind, you know,
well, she
a
played
lot
the
of
ball.
them,
That's not right.
because she was Fijian, but opportunists.
You can't, like Jimmy, there's no way.
Oh, no,
brother is-
no,
or
Jimmy, no way
brother-in-law,
is
they're
that.
not like that.
No.
At all.
Yeah. Anyway, hello to Mark. He's come in and talking.
Who's this?
Mark Saxon from the UK, talking about the Jews. So so it proves some of the Bible scriptures are right. Yeah, some of the Bible.
Some are. Look, you've got to be very careful, though. I tell you, it's like the deal with Pope Leo XIII that Satan had 100 years to take over the church, and of course, it's done that. But you say, well, why? Well, since 1884, the 13th of October, when that promise was given to Satan, he had 100 years to do it. Well, the Catholic Church has been inundated with more evil than it's ever had before in its past. And it's had some, I can tell you that. It's been dropped fastest for a very, very long period of time. So it was the inclusion of the Freemasonry that come back in from the England side that brought in the English Bible, and which was translated from the same text of the Bible selected by the Catholic Church. So they got Paul in there, and they got all the things that you shouldn't be reading. But it builds up a series of codes. So when you say, okay, Lucifer, Satan, you can have 100 years to take over the church, well, you've already got the Bible, right? That's already yours. But the Bible has been taken around the world, and of course Christianity has spread like wildfire around the world because it's the only type of salvation you're going to get, regardless of the fact that most of the bullshit in it is coming from the words of Paul. However, that's not the point. Everyone knows the word Jesus Christ. Right? If you're in Arabia and drop something on your toe, you'll say Jesus Christ. Right? That's the only words they know. Can't speak anything else in English, but they can say Jesus Christ, all right? So the whole point, everyone has to know what Jesus Christ is. And then, if you look at the prophecies, of course it's going to be taken over by the devil. And everyone will be fooled. It says that in the Bible quite clearly. And that's the kind of thing that had to stay in there. So you say, okay, Lucifer, you got your Bible. And Lucifer thinks to itself, shit, have I been trapped here? Well, of course, it knows it has but a short time. That's when it was cast to the earth by Michael the Archangel. So then that's got to stay there. So there's certain things in the Bible that's got to stay there. The general theme of the Gospels, for example, in Isaiah can't be changed because it's in the Dead Sea Scroll. Right? Ezekiel can't be changed, and the various prophets, minor prophets, they can't be changed. So they all predict that in the end time, the whole world's going to be taken over and devoured, and then the Lord himself will show up. So, the Bible-bashing Christians, of course, they're all reading Paul. And Paul is this and that and everything else, and then they take things out of context, and there are things that are put in there to make it appear, because it's all a parable. It is like this. Someone says he's coming in the clouds, he ain't. It's a parable. It's like coming in the clouds. It's like a big white horse. What's a white horse? Power. What's a big white horse mean? Ultimate power. You know, but Bible bashers don't go for that. Then they have this disgusting habit of anyone who is in their church and family, if they happen to say, oh, look, I think this is bullshit, they'll stone them and throw them out, more or less.
And that all
I've seen that many times.
That all comes from the teachings of Paul.
Yeah, if you don't go on with it, you're out.
Talking about ostracising people left, right and centre if they go against what is his gospel of grace.
It's got to be an open. Look, it's got to be an open forum. Say what you like.
Yeah.
Open discussion.
The way, the truth, and the life. What did Jesus do? Not what did he say or debate about it or
what
the
you
rest
do.
of it. Being willing, you take up your cross, which is your life, and do what he did. Stand up, be counted, and be willing to go to the cross.
So you've got about 6 million people in Papua New Guinea. Half of them are children or more. And so there you've got 400,000 of 3 million. Well, that is a very high percentage that already believe, not counting the other ones that already believe from the highlands of the other area.
Now, what's interesting is that, you know the saying, all publicity is good publicity, good or bad, because once the 12 minutes went to air in Lateline in 2009 March, which was, it was 12 minutes given over to us, all right, and the guy had to be neutral, if you like, and present both sides. And of course, you've got the enemy bagging us, calling us frauds and all that kind of thing, departing people from their wallets or something like that, meaning we were taking money from them. It was exactly the opposite. I said to a guy a couple of days ago, in total, it was about $110,000 that we spent gladly, willingly. It was all about taking these simple protocols and proving that there is a cure for AIDS. It's all a lie, and this is all you need to do to avoid death. But I've completely lost my track. What Lucy said at the time.
We set up Goliath Gold up there, which we've already talked about, and because we own it, and it hasn't done anything, but it's still in the yellow pages. You can look it up on the yellow pages.
Yeah, Papua New Guinea yellow pages. So.
Goliath Gold, just punch it in, it'll come up. Now, it gives you all the things. It's already there. The bank account's already set up. The check account's already set up. We haven't used it, and except for a few little details when it was up there. But we're giving it to the civic nation.
Turn it over, yeah.
So yeah, Jules. Now, why we do that? Well, they do not trust white people because they know from our experience, they don't trust anybody. They know from our experience and the experience with others that they can't trust anybody. So they've got this enormous amounts of gold they want to get rid of. I said, well, use my company. So we've set it up so all you do is walk into the local dealer over there and we've shown them how to do it. And that's it. Go in on our name, it goes into our account, and then is cashed out to the various people who's contributing to the gold supply. Right? Well, we're talking a lot of money that these people then, my conditions are, or our conditions, when I say I mean us, you and I, and usually this is your idea, and I didn't think of it, of course, was that the money that they have to tithe a certain amount of money for the infrastructure of building clinics all over the country. So we have told them how to do it, where to buy the equipment. Not a problem. When you've got heaps of money, you can bring in anything you like from all overseas. You can bring a bloody shipping if you want. But you just pay the duty on it. So that's the government. They don't give a shit. They just want to get the money. So when these people have this currency, they can do that. And they can be paid out when they sell their gold or whatever they're going to sell. And they've got diamonds and they've got bloody all sorts of gems and silver and everything else. Is one of the richest,
and copper. Probably is the richest nation on the earth.
Oh, per head of copper. They're very, very wealthy. So, of course, they're not getting any of it. So I'm just saying, well, this is how you do it. I just sit back and take it easy. I don't need any extra money. The only thing we're going to be doing is going up to New Zealand. That finishes our circuit of the world, if you like, because it is an 8-day number.
Going down to New Zealand from here.
That's right. It all depends.
Well, it depends if there's that massive pole shift that all the Zeta talk has been on about. It might be going up to New Zealand.
Well, what we've done, we've told them how to get rid of it, how to do the test, what type of machines they have to buy so they know what they've got. For about 20 grand, you can get these machines that will put your whatever you got.
X-ray.
Piece of copper or whatever.
It's X-ray fluorescence.
It's X-ray fluorescence, so it'll give off like a spectrum of the
It's a light spectrum.
And it'll tell you exactly, depending on how much you want to pay. If you want to pay 40 grand, you get it more accurate. But we're talking about 1/100% different hairs, right?
But it does it for everything.
For everything.
Soil, effluent, even water.
It does water, it does soils, all that kind of thing. There's handheld ones that they can go into the mountainside and just point it at the wall and tell you whether there's any gold in it or not.
Yeah.
This kind of thing to go.
Now, I want to go back to Mark, talking about Mark and the scriptures. Mark, they have left things out, which was the accusation to them as Jesus. He said, you hold back the knowledge so that you don't enter into the kingdom and you stop everybody else from going in as well. These are the Babylonian Pharisee priests. So I have this... I've read this before, but I'm going to read it again to emphasize the point. Now, I think you will agree that if all Christendom, the arrogant Christendom out there, understood that Jesus taught about the reincarnation of the soul, and that is what resurrection means, as evident from the Aramaic writings that have been kept out of the book that everybody has been trapped in. So this is more like the original account. And this again, I've done this recently. This is the book that was prepared for Frank Bainimarama that he wouldn't take, but Major Rokaura did gladly. So
Fiji.
In Fiji, so this is what we told him then. Reincarnation removed from the Bible. The facts are, I spoke plainly. about reincarnation, making a reference to Job. When we read Job, it is missing. Likewise, Nicodemus had no knowledge of it. The following is the verse from the Aramaic Essene Gospel of the Holy 12, pertaining to the questions of Nicodemus, who came in the night fearing the Jews would kill him. Now, I want you to remember how Yah, over and over, as the 6-year-old, taken back in time, Mary, his mother, saying to him, Jesus, Jesus, come, runs up beside her, he looks up, and she says, I have something to tell you. If the Jews find out that we are Essene, they will kill us. So, Nicodemus, going at night time out of fear of the Jews. So I'm reading this. Now, again, in the translations of the Aramaic, all kinds of things, there are runaway, the translators sometimes have agendas, even if it's only a subtle one. And so things get screwed up because, people are coming, what about this, what about that, and all the rest of it. Just you've got to be choosy. Yah is the one that sorts it out too. But this is the information that's been held back from those who put together the Bible, what went into the Bible. And a certain rabbi, Nicodemus, came unto him by night for fear of the Jews, and said unto him, How can a man be born again when he is old? Can he enter a second time into his mother's womb and be born again? Verse 5, Jesus answered, Verily I say unto you, except a man be born again of flesh, hear the difference, of flesh and of spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and ye hear the sound thereof, but cannot tell whence it cometh or whither it goeth. The light shineth from the east even unto the west out of the darkness. The sun, S-U-N, ariseth and goes down into darkness again. So it is with man from the ages unto the ages. When it cometh from the darkness, it is that he hath lived before. And when it goeth down again into darkness, it is that he may rest for a little, and thereafter again exist. Verse 8, So through many changes must ye be made perfect, as it is written in the book of Job, I am a wanderer, changing place after place, and house after house, until I come unto the city and mansion which is eternal. That is this time now. House after house is the flesh body, the vehicle that contains the soul at each reincarnation. Verse 9, And Nicodemus said unto him, How can these things be? And Jesus answered and said unto him, Art thou a teacher in Israel, and understandeth not these things? Verily we speak that which we do know, and bear witness to that which we have seen, and ye receive not our witness. Verse 10, If I have told you of earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things? No man hath ascended into heaven. Now this is very important, because as Yah has said, he went to the cross to release those souls who had remained literally on the realm of earth at death. But he that descended out of heaven, so he's even the son, daughter of man which is in heaven, he came from the heavenly realm to show the way, the truth, and the life, and would release his own soul, the soul of the Father, at the cross, which then opened the gates, if you like, for the souls that had been trapped in the realm of the earthly realm, those that had not ascended into the heavenly realm of no time, to what? To be able to come back now so that you can enter the kingdom of God, which comes to the earth. So unless you've been born again of flesh and of the Spirit. Now here, again, what the KJV New Testament omissions left out become obvious to remove the knowledge from the psyche of the reader. There's only 7 verses, and it says, there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God. For no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him. Verse 3. First, get a load of this. Jesus answered and said unto him, well, first of all, there wasn't a question, so why is Jesus answering? Jesus answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Then verse 4, Nicodemus saith unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Verse 5, Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit. So they've changed the word, the understanding totally, because it was flesh, of the Spirit, capital S, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. And this is why, means clarifying, all the born-again Christians, hello, they have been deluded. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. That's not what he said in the account I just read to you from the Aramaic Gospels. Marvel not that I said unto thee, you must be born again. Let me ask you, first of all, in the second account, the 7 verses, Nicodemus didn't get to ask the question. He didn't ask anything. And then got Jesus coming in with this answer to a non-question that doesn't answer anything anyway. It doesn't make anything clear. Are you left in confusion? Yes. All of Christendom is in confusion. They believe that he was referring to a spiritualized rebirth after praying a sinner's prayer. Wrong.
And so that is why the number 179 is so important. It means to moan and grieve, and also in Greek it is indissoluble, permanent, endless. Right? That's why it's so important.
Yes.
And why? Well, in English Gematria, the word shut the fuck up is 179.
So the many come in that day, Lord, did I not do this? Did I not do that? And he says, go away, I don't know you. Depart from me, you who practice iniquity.
So he's talking to somebody, right? If someone's coming back, everybody's going to be pissed off with him, so they're going to reject him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it hits the fan and the Lord takes over, which is shortly, right? What's that going to mean? They're all going to say, Lord, look what we've done in your name.
Yes. No, you haven't.
See you later.
I don't know you.
And I'll throw a 179 at you as well.
A wobbly. That's the wobbly.
That's the wobbly, yeah.
Chuck a wobbly. Oh, anyway. Have I made things a little clearer there about it's a mixture. Anything that's a mixture is perverted, sophisticated.
Multiply the 179 by 6, but they do in Gematria.
Yes.
It means this age, generation, time.
Yeah, we're talking about this generation, this evil generation that is back through the resurrection of the soul. Everybody has been born into the time of the resurrection upon the earth since the rebirth hour of the Lord Jesus Christ. January 11th, 1944, the day and the hour, 2:22 a.m. Everybody else has been born into the period of time called, he said, I am the resurrection and the life. What does that mean? Well, he comes back, and then everybody else, all the souls gathered upon the earth, because judgment's already occurred in the heavenly realm, now all the souls are gathered on the earth for the execution of the judgment. This is what he says. Fear him who can kill both body and soul in hell. And this is hell. You have to agree. No other place has been made hell because of the deception and the delusion that covers the whole earth by the devil who was cast down. And you've got those who don't become like a small child to understand that, oh, I thought this, I thought that, I better get off that.
Well, you see, with the New Guinea natives, they got their religion, but cash talks. Money talks and bullshit walks, right?
And you've got...
So, if suddenly we've got a church up there called Delightly Gold, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, no,
we're
Benedict
just sitting there,
XVI.
and they're reading the apostolic letter to each other when they're trading cash in for gold, right? Back and forth.
It's amazing how the
It's
diamonds...
amazing how money talks.
Well, what do the scriptures actually say about the streets of the New Jerusalem? They'll be paved with gold, and it
Paved
talks
with
about
gold.
gems and...
Well, that falls into the Matthew 21:43, where I have chosen this nation.
A Gentile
It's already
nation.
written, a Gentile nation.
Yeah.
Like, you people out there who think you're Gentiles, you're not. Right? And you've got these silly people that think they're chosen people when in actual fact they're Mongolian Khazars. Right? They've got nothing to do with
beast.
Europeans whatsoever. All of the tribes of Europe are the nations of Europe. Right? Been infiltrated and taken over by the holy people, as they call themselves, the chosen ones, which is also a tremendous pile of bullshit. Right?
And what are these natives like?
They're all starving.
But
all
they
ill.
are all like
So
children.
here Santa Claus comes in. You can call me what you like. They know the name. Right? This strange man showed up with his little wife, and they cured everybody of all the diseases and left, and they set up a company that they can take over and trade gold and do it the way I told them to do it. They can walk in up to into the people up there. We've already phoned them, already set it up. They've got these machines. They walk in with a chunk of gold and say it's worth 98%.
Yeah.
And where do you want the money paid? Into Delightly Gold. Why? Because that's the company that's been given to them. And then they get a cheque or money transferred to any place. It's already got to go through the banks. So Delightly Gold's already set up. They go in there, they get their couple of $100 or $1,000 or whatever they go Kina, and it goes straight in, and they get a cheque. Our people who's working for us up there gives them a cheque. We've already signed it. Right? They got over a chequebook. That's it.
Anyway, it's all good, and then suddenly their hell becomes paradise.
Or we transfer on the internet there to their bank account.
All good. It's all happening.
So they're going to tithe a little bit for the kingdom. No, that's up to them. Tithe what you like. Nothing or a lot. I don't care.
Yeah, no, well, what about Church of Benedict XVI?
Well, we thought we'd call it the Catholic Church of the... don't call it Catholic at the moment. But we call it Benedict XVI.
Benedict XVI, it wasn't a Benedict.
The Church of Benedict XVI.
Yeah.
Now, the Benedictines go back to King William the Lion.
Yes, there's all the
and
connections.
to my very sad ancient relatives, Malcolm III and his lovely wife, who was the Queen of England, which has now been written out of history, that was Margaret. And of course I'm born in St Margaret's Hospital. Right?
My middle name is Margaret, my mother's name is Margaret, her mother's name was Margaret. My daughter's middle name is Margaret.
What's that got to do with it?
Isn't there a song? Got to do with it? No.
So we just sit here and let it wheel in. We've already set it up. We've told them how to do it. We get it handed over to them, and that's it. We don't need anything out of it. We've got old age pension. We sit here and just smile from ear to ear and wait for it to hit the 28th of September, and the world is screwed big time.
Yeah. Anyway, the guys have... good night, Hirad. I've got to go. Okay. Much love to you, Hirad. And... yeah, Russ is quite. Give him a 179. Yeah. Followed by a 310 or vice versa. Hello, 179 coming your way. Hi, John Lynch. How are you? Good to hear from you. And we're almost out of time, but you don't care. So if you've got more, keep talking, babe.
No, I've run out.
You've run out?
It's amazing, isn't it? No, you'll think of something. I'll give you 3 seconds.
Let me see if there's... let me just read...
Told you.
Yeah. All right, the corruption of the New Testament. This was put together in 2010.
This is the holy book of Fiji, by the way.
Yes.
Because it was accepted by the commander of the army.
The right-hand man to Major
Rotorua. Now, we didn't want him to do anything, but he did a foolish thing. And that is, he tried to have a military coup.
Well, that's what we were told.
That's
We
what
don't.
we were
He
told.
could
We
be
don't know
totally
that, no.
set up.
Could be a complete.
They probably set him up just to get him out of the way because
Could have done.
he was.
Very lovely man, anyhow.
Yeah, and he was a believer, and he was telling how much of the army of Fiji knows that you are back.
Yeah.
They came to shake your hand surreptitiously.
Right.
Now, what is... okay. All right, so let's I'll hold this up for the camera. It'll be an updated photograph of Yaren there. It'll be a shrouded photograph, but this was the one used
Well,
at
hold
the
it up
time.
a bit higher and I'll zoom in.
This is the front page. It's the Golightly and the Marshall shields. Because Yara is the king of Judah. He's the king of Israel.
Oh,
It's all-
that's
he's-
good.
no, he is Israel. Again, the lump of dirt. There's the Golightly antique crown of David and the Marshall line of Judah from Genesis 49:10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Marshall 49:10 is his name. It's all
Means parable.
parable. Now, there's all of these points that we opened them up with, so I'll read through some of the points, these bullet points. Christ has been back on the earth since January 11, 1944. His rebirth date and the hour, of course, which only he can know, because he's the Father, is 2:22 a.m. So, well, only the Father knows. This is what... yes, he is the Father, and he's been declaring it to the world of the deluded ever since the advent of internet. The knowledge has been withheld from the masses by Lucifer. The Lucifer cult's plan has been to depopulate the planet, beginning with the Gentiles. These are the dark-skinned peoples. The Gentiles are the dark-skinned races. Lucifer hates Christian people. The Gentiles are all non-European Christian races. The time frame has been ongoing since 1878 with the Eugenics Society. The Eugenics Society spread from England to all nations of Israel, which was Europe. The Jews are not Jews, they are Khazar, Turks out of Khazaria, Russia. The Khazar adopted Judaism, a religion invented by Antichrist Pharisee. There is no tie of Judaism to Essene, please. It was completely different, the way, the truth and the life. No tie at all to Judaism. The United States and Australia escalated the depopulation program after World War I. The solar system will cross back into heaven on... Now, this was the Mayan date of December 21st, 2012, but it was 375 days out, so it was actually December 11th, 2011 at 11:11 a.m. The solar system is moving northward. It's continuing to move northward at 69,000 kilometers per hour. The Lucifer cult dominates all things from the Vatican to the Protestant churches. There is no such thing as democracy. This is known as the Hegelian dialectic created by Lucifer. Almost all diseases have been manipulated to become more deadly by germ warfare labs. Canada developed the pathogen transmitting mosquito responsible for malaria, AIDS and cancers, etc. The USA holds the patent on AIDS, patented in 1987, patent number 4647773, Google it. All nations are subject to Israel. The 10 northern nations of Europe dominated covertly by Freemasonry. Freemasonry is a satanic cult evolving out of the 10 tribes of Israel under Solomon. The Holy Bible is a Freemason translation by 47 Freemason scholars out of Freemason universities. The Queen Elizabeth II has been served papers to vacate the throne by Christ, who followed legal protocol. The Queen had 21 days to respond. Her failure is legally acquiescent and has no counter-claim. Evelyn de Rothschild is Lucifer, who controls the royal family as a front. Well, I'd say the Rothschild, Evelyn and Jacob, all of them. It's the house of Rothschild. Prince Charles is the head of World Freemasonry, and he is an antichrist, definitely. But you've got Francis there at the Vatican, who is the one that is opposing the Christ by refusing to, sound.
He was told by
He was told by Pope Benedict, so he stands in opposition to the Christ. Christ is Brian Golightly Marshall. He, the true genetic king descended from David. The Great Pyramid is the true Bible in stone. The altar to the Lord from Isaiah 19, verses 19 and 20. All churches are consumed by Lucifer's Freemasonry and are condemned. The Pope is not the vicar of Christ, but a puppet of Lucifer. Well, this was Benedict until he redeemed everything. He humbled himself to become like that small child and realized not only the error of his ways, but the love of his life. I mean, Benedict was naive, but he had a pure heart because he saw in front of him the Shroud of Turin, which he already loved and worshipped. And then Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, oh my God, and he describes in his apostolic letter what happened to him. He held on to it for 3 days and then within himself coursed the love and compassion of God. And what is compassion? Compassion is the love of God moved to do something. And so from that moment on, Benedict was moved to announce. You can read how he himself, going through the process, and he came to the conclusion, and he was moved through compassion to make the announcement. But he also realized that the world may think him crazy, but he did it anyway. So, hello. At that moment, Benedict decapitated, cut off the head of the snake, which is Judaism. The snake is Judaism, ancient, behind everything. And, Benedict himself, he was so innocent. I remember in the early part of the conversation, the very early part, I said to, because they sent the photographs from, their personal photographs, and there is Benedict wearing the mitre with the Star of David on it, Israel, hello. So I wrote, and I said to them, what the hell are you doing? Literally, I may not have used that, but I said, why are you wearing? No wonder the world is upset, the world that is in the know. Israel are not Jews. They call themselves Jews. They're Satan. Why are you wearing the mitre with the Star of David on it? It's Rothschild, red shield, it's Anyway, it was like, well, it was sent to us as a gift by some Roman Jews, hat makers there. They presented it, and so Benedict was wearing it out of acknowledgement of the gift. He had no idea what he was doing. So in the next communication, there was sent another photograph where he's wearing the mitre with the fleur-de-lis on it. I said, that's better. I had to explain to him what the crooked mitre was all about, the crooked cross, that John Paul II was carrying around Jesus hung up on the crooked cross and everything. I had to explain all of these things to him. So they sent the photograph where he's holding the gold, or the brass, was probably brass cross, no Jesus on it, but the brass cross. So he was willing to be corrected, is the point, and that's what a child does. The meek are the teachable. People who have picked up years of knowledge, if they are not teachable, especially by the Christ when he brings them into correction, they are not the meek.
Well, that's one thing I said to him, and he comes back to the Jews.
Yes, again, it was saying, how come you don't have anybody to call? That he had no record of telephone numbers or even addresses of all these people that he'd come in contact with. As Pope, he had no record of anything, because everything was brought to him to sign this, and then taken away and mailed or whatever. And he said, the Jews. It was the Jews. He suddenly realized behind it all were the Jews. So he was left literally alone and powerless. He had nobody to call on.
That's why he asked us to do it.
That's why that night that he realised he had become a prisoner of the Vatican, because they'd cut off the announcement from RAI TV. The call to help was only through us. Upload it to your people through the YouTube. Please let the world know what is going on. And Giuseppe put it together, and look what happened to Giuseppe later. And he is a witness. He is a martyr. He is a wonderful man, chosen. He already had chosen that role, if you like. And there was anyway. So I'm still going through these I'm talking about Pope is not the vicar of the cross, but the puppet of Lucifer. And as I said, that was Benedict until, he became the small child and did what he did. So prophecy predicts all Israel, which are the Western nations, will be judged by Yahweh Christ and condemned. All of Europe, all of their part in all of this, Australia, England, United States, being the arm of, the abomination that makes desolate, all judged by Yahweh. It's not happy for them. So this one small nation will begin a domino effect and the world will fall, rejecting Lucifer. So it actually began, although this was Fiji that we went to, it actually began with Papua New Guinea. And the Godhead has always been and still is Father and Mother, Father, Yahweh, and Mother. And, that's Asherah, hence the statues on Easter Island. All human souls are female, and is why the Father, Yahweh, is Alpha, the only male soul in creation. Hence, mankind is the wife of Christ. This is the marriage between the Father as Christ and the church is the wife who marry him. Fiji is the nation, well, it's actually Papua New Guinea. And look, Fiji is all part of it. It began with Papua New Guinea, but you've got Fiji, Solomon Islands, all the South Seas, from the equator to the South Pole. Hello, May the 15th, 1606, with Pedro Fernandez de Quiros making that beautiful proclamation and declaration, Southland of the Holy Ghost, so not the Holy Spirit. I think we have, it's all part of this. I'll go through this and bring it up to date. So anyway, now we are really and truly over time. So with that, what have you guys been saying? Oh, Ross says the red planet over Japan is big today. Looks like it has doubled in size. Really? Good. and in front of the sun seems to have a satellite or a moon. Ross, I take it that you've put the link again up on your Facebook site. Ross
well, let's get it up and put it on the screen now.
I'll go over there. Ross, you say a parable is a ripping yarn. Yes, that's right. Naivety equals like a child. Yes, to be naive is to be like a child. Children don't know about the evils of what's going on. Well, that was Benedict. Yeah. And I don't know how many times, as...
So when we gather all these people together, I don't want you to come in and lick me backside, right? Just come in, hey, how you going? Good, no worries. That's it.
Yeah.
None of this grovelling bullshit.
No, this worshipful. I mean, it's Lucifer that wants the worship. That's the whole point why he's kicked out of heaven. He wanted to be like God. Well, why was God worshipped by the angels and, thinking about the parable in the heavenly realm and all the rest of it all? Well, God was worshipped because he was cool, he was neat, he was lovely. And then Lucifer, gets jealous because although he's beautiful to look at, he's not being worshipped like God is. So, he was eager for the worship. Well, just take a look. Booted out of heaven, you can't be like me. Go to the earth, do what you want. I'm coming back and there's nothing
Take on the mind of Christ when you get down to...
Oh, take on the mind of Christ, a.k.a. Paul, the devil, and every other New Age religion out there.
When I first heard that from Grant, I thought that was the stupidest thing I've heard someone say. To take on someone else's mind.
Yes.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, this is Paul. It's the teachings of Paul.
But it's a stupid thing to say.
Yes, I know. Nobody can think like him.
Well, Grant does.
Oh, so he thinks. All right, Ross, I'm going over to your Facebook page. I trust that you have the link there. Bear with me, everybody, because Yar wants to get what you were seeing over Japan on screen. I better not do that. I'll end up in places that I don't want to go to. Not that one.
Ross posted it now. He's got it in front of me.
No, we can't pick it up from the chat room. It doesn't work. Got to go over to... okay, here it goes. I've got the link now. Thank you, Ross. Isn't technology marvelous? It's just amazing. I'll turn this around so that you can get it.
Okay.
Here it is. It's This runs from 11:45 until 12:05, 12:10, so 25 minutes. And you can see the red.
Shit, yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Bernadine.
Can you slow it down?
No. Oh, well, let me check. I don't think you can. It's just a...
Well, you can't stop it.
Can you? Okay.
You stop it on the orange.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if that ain't a red planet, I'll go skipping to Burke. Burke, in Australia, when you say I'll go skipping to Burke, what that means is usually on one leg. It's a very long way. It's in the middle of the desert. Why would you want to go there anyhow? And you skip there on one leg. You'd be very tired by the time I got out the front door, right?
So the
there it
possibilities
is.
of you actually doing that are nil. So the possibilities of this not being the red planet are
Yeah. Well, Australia's got a lot of good sayings.
Sayings.
Like on the other side of the black stump.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell's that mean?
Or this side of the black stump.
Yeah.
Just this side of the black stump.
A long way away.
There's a lot of black stumps in
that's
Australia.
black, right?
It could be anywhere. Let's talk about the toads. The toad doco, the cane toad doco.
Oh, dear. That's on Netflix. And it's the documentaries about the cane toads in Australia. Now, the ironic thing about the cane toad, when we come to Queensland, there were more toads here.
I'll bring up a picture of a cane toad just while we're talking about this. This is so funny.
Now, the cane toad itself, if a crocodile eats it, it'll kill the crocodile.
Yeah.
Because when it's getting munched up, it gives off this venom off its back. But little kids play with them as pets, and they raise them as pets.
Oh, yes.
And one little girl there in this Netflix thing we seen the other day, this toad would have been as big as, say, a half-grown kitten. And she's playing with it, and she rolls them over. But the bloody dogs, they lick them, and they get stoned, right?
Yes.
So there's a dog laying there, and it's like the effect of it is like LSD, which I have no idea what it is.
Right.
But there's a dog stoned out of his tree after been licking his bloody frog.
He's a cane toad
frog,
consuming a mouse.
What's it got in his mouth?
A mouse.
It's got a mouse in its mouth. That's a big one.
All right, I'll find another one where somebody's holding it. There's plenty of pictures here.
It is a marvellous creature, just the same. And the Australians are very, very intelligent, and this is what they did. They brought out some cane toads from wherever, Brazil or something.
There was 105 originally? That was the number?
And they put them in a lake, and these things produce between 70 to 80,000 eggs. Right?
Oh, here's the girl that was featured in the doco, the little girl. This is her pet.
So, naturally they escaped and took over the country. Now they've brought in, for the dumbest reason, the sugar cane, which all should be cut down and burned anyhow. There he is. Now this thing, there's deadly poison on it if it gets pissed off. So she raises a pet, and can you find one in there about the dog licking it, getting stoned?
Yeah, let me see it. Yeah, okay. This was from the documentary that we saw, which was so funny.
So they are quite an incredible creature. They are actually, their eyes and that kind of thing, beautiful to look at, but the reproduction of them is phenomenal. And they brought them into Australia, and that's how clever Australians are, for the moths.
Oh, the white moth at the...
And the moth lays its egg at the bottom of the cane, and it goes down to the roots, and you have 3 or 4 big grubs get down there. They take up all the water, and because as they get bigger, the sugar cane dies. Right? Now, what they didn't realise was that cane toads don't fly because the moths that they are intended to eat are at the top of the bloody cane, which could be 6-7 feet up, 2 metres high.
Yeah.
Right? So they didn't have the smarts to realise, first off, do a test to see how many they breed, and will it do in a controlled area, will it do the job? Because it didn't do the job, they just topped off and they're gone, right?
And they breed at the rate of?
Oh, well, 70 to 80,000 eggs per season.
And it's twice a year, isn't it? Is the
Twice
season?
a year.
Twice a year. So now...
No, I got that wrong. It's in a year, it's 70 to 80,000.
Okay.
About 30 to 35,000 or 40,000 per season. So 2 seasons a year. So these things didn't eat anything else. But what happens is, one good thing about it for cat lovers, the wild cats that were killing the birds that got loose in Australia, they don't have them anymore because they eat a frog. They eat the toad.
Right.
What happens? The toad kills it because as soon as it's eaten a crocodile, as soon as it goes into the stomach of a crocodile, the thing gives off the acid or the venom and kills it.
Yeah. Dogs licking cane toads. This was in the doco. This dog had licked the belly of a cane toad and they get high. And the doco was really well done because now you've got the camera as if seeing through the eyes of the dog what the world looks like after they're high on licking the cane toad.
You see, the woman, she's calling to a dog and the dog's not taking any notice, she's just licking this cane toad, right? And the toad's just laying there loving it. And then it just wanders off and stoned out of his tree.
Yeah.
And every so often it goes out and does it again.
Yes. It's like it's addicted to it. It wants the high.
Now, the Chinese, they love cane toads because they use the venom.
They milk it for the venom every few days.
And then they eat the legs and then they make, out of the skin, they make leather.
Leather products. So
I would have said if you're going to cure the cane toad problem in Australia, just bring back some Chinamen with nets.
Yeah.
They'll take them back. They also make fertiliser out of them.
Yes.
So what they do is they pick them all up alive and put them into Christian handler, put them into a plastic bag, and then put them in a freezer because the things just slowly get cold and freeze. It doesn't hurt them.
Well, actually, no. The company was gassing them. There's a couple of ways. They were gassing them with CO2. Yeah. And then they were burying them, but no, you can, freeze them and then dump them. What is it? They added lime, wasn't it? Lime?
Mixed with lime.
Mixed with lime, and it becomes fertiliser, a liquid.
I think that one there up the top there is just a cartoon.
Which?
One, the smiling dog.
Yeah, well, but this is... Roger, get inside. Queensland dogs are tripping, this is called. Oh no, it's I'm gonna get over there. Anyway.
So anyhow, when we come up to Queensland, by this time, we're talking 10 years later, there's very few of them around. So they seem to have reached
in this area.
They seem to have reached the...
Well, they were migrating north and making their way across to Western Australia, so this is what they were trying to prevent in the documentary. Don't know how old the documentary is. A lot of the footage was from 1994.
That's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago. So it's 21 years ago. But some of the weirdest. Yeah, people have them as pets. What about the dude? I'll see if I can find this photograph. The dude who had the little... his whole circus was around...
the circus of... You go on tour with this. This guy couldn't read or write.
Right.
And... he went on tour with his circus of cane toads.
Yeah, it was one, wasn't it, that he called?
Well, he may have had one, but one was a sort of picture of what he was talking about.
Yeah, it was his.
It was heartbreaking one thing died, right? It was huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
It was big as
he blamed himself for overfeeding it because the show was he had a little... he had a tent. Everything was made up to be a circus and a tent from the outside. This was like a travelling one man, one toad show. And then he had this door for the toad. Do you remember his name? It was something like Moriarty, the name of the toad, something. And then he would fill that with cockroaches, and then the cane toad would make his way in there and then capture the image of his tongue lashing out and eating all these cockroaches. Anyway, the guy that owned him blamed himself for overfeeding with cockroach because he's got so big. He was just like this puddle with a head on it, puddle with a tongue, and he died, and he was so upset.
Oh yeah. He wasn't that upset when his wife died.
Did he have a wife at somewhere along the line?
No, she was dead.
Too many cockroaches.
You fed her and cockroaches too, apparently.
Oh my goodness, that's the inside of a toad. My goodness gracious me, yuck. And what about the dude who was electrocuted? That's how it
There's a silly guy.
started.
He made himself up a spear.
This is
And
1994.
with a knife on the end of it. And outside his van, he's with his wife, and they get a bucket. So we had to go around, because the idea was people were encouraged to kill toads, right?
Yes.
So he was stabbing him with this knife on the end of his spear.
Yeah.
And he stabbed the extension cord, right, and killed himself.
He electrocuted himself, and that was 1994 on the call. Oh my God! He was wearing bare feet outside, and he's trying to get these cane toads because everybody was asked to, gather up, collect the cane toads or kill them or whatever. And so this guy does, and he electrocutes
When I was working as
himself.
an electrician, I used to put my finger on electricity to see if it's alive or not.
Right. Well, in the real life shot showed the blowout on the soles of his feet, and then the heels was blown out. Anyway, it was pretty gross. I'm trying to find a cane toad travelling show. See if it comes up. This was his
Cane Toad Circus, put that in.
show. This was his. Oh, here it is. Melrose was his name. Here it is. You got to see this. This dude, and Melrose was his toad. He was so upset when Melrose died. Toxic invasion.
What did you call Moriarty?
Here it is. This is. Oh, I knew it just started.
That's
with
Sherlock
an M.
Holmes done it.
Here we go. Yes, there's Melrose. So this was from a.
Zoom in there. It's inside the circus tent, which is about. There it is.
Oh dear! And what about the guy who created the area so they could hop to and be safe because he wasn't going to kill any of them? They had a right to live.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, and they're destroying everything. They're not only the crocodiles are being wiped out. The ecosystems being destroyed by their migration.
The people who was growing the cane,
Yes.
they were committing suicide.
Yeah. So this one dude feeling sorry for them, and the sensible guy was saying, "Listen, if you were being attacked by an invader killing your children, you'd have no trouble stopping them, and yet these idiots who protect the cane toad when they are killing people literally through suicide. It's like the GMO, into cotton and the suicide amongst farmers. And anyway, that's a bit of fun there. Cane toads, the conquest. There's another.
Yeah, but what's current? This is the point.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look at this, see how cane toads, the conquest, taking a leap in 30. What they found was that Dettol, of all things, Dettol was deadly to them. Right? And the lime.
Yes, right.
All right, guys, we are 88 minutes. As far as people use it as a medicine to hunt with, helps them get into herding mode. In the forest, Chinese will eat anything it's back to the sun. They say yes, codependence, dog and toad, and not a mouse. Yeah, guys, a lot of fun there. Anyway, it was just so funny to watch the other night. And Australians in action, northern Queensland, across the top, Darwin. These are real Aussies. White-skinned, burned red. Skin's like leather out in the sun, but these are your true. What is it?
Huh?
True blue. True blue.
Aye, true blue.
True blues.
They got these half-crazy singers over here. I feel like a Tooheys, feel like a Tooheys, feel like a Tooheys or two. That used to drive me crazy because it's an ad for Tooheys beer. Right? Now the same guy, John Williamson, he used to come up with various songs. You get in them really an appealing voice, really. But Hi, True Blue.
Yeah.
They do that at bloody funerals.
Yes.
Too bad you're gone. Yes, you snuck off for a Tooheys. Oh, here we go.
Now, what about the song they played at Peter's brother's funeral that we turned up to in the Ark of the Covenant after we picked it up?
While they buried him, right, they stopped that to come over and look at the car, right?
Well, no, we followed. We ended up first in line in the funeral, car. But the music they were
The family's
playing.
supposed to be following the funeral car, and we sort of duck in.
Well, we got there late, first of all. So we were at the back of the memorial, the chapel, and we got there for the last moments when they're starting to play. What was it? Spirit in the Sky. It was Spirit in the Sky.
It's nothing dumb.
So now everybody files out. I had to go to the bathroom, so we're actually late. But we ended up the first car behind the funeral car with the casket in it to go around the 1.5 kilometres to get to where the plot was prepared. Well, by the time we got to the plot, the Ark of the Covenant that we had just picked up, so it was new to us, was now steaming, and we pull over behind the casket, 50 feet ahead of us, and all attention is now on the racket that the Ark of the Covenant is giving off and then leaking green liquid into the streets around the memorial forest, forest lawns. So now all the boys are gathered over surrounding the Ark of the Covenant. Instead of going to the burial plot, when the casket was going, here's God at the side creating a ruckus. With the Ark of the Covenant giving off steam and spewing green liquid. Oh dear.
So they leave the bloody burial site, come over and look at the car, and all these guys,
gee mate,
they're all looking at the car and all this green stuff coming out the bottom of it. Well, Peter's trying to bury his brother about 50 feet away, right? They all leave that bucket there and we'll look at the car.
Oh man! So after the words were spoken and the lumps of dirt dropped on the casket, etc., 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 we ended up remaining in the cemetery, seated on the grass, waiting for the tow truck. Because we found the guy that sold us the Ark of the Covenant. He was a mechanic. Big mistake. Don't ever buy a car from a mechanic. Truly. So he arranged for somebody to come and pick up the Ark of the Covenant. So it would be taken back to him right across the other side of the city. So now we are in the truck, in the cabin with the tow truck. It was a deck, it wasn't towed. He drove it up onto the deck, or what, pulled it up, winched it up onto the deck of this truck. He dropped us off. Get a load of this. I just told you that at the memorial service, we got there last, but we ended up being first in line in the funeral, whatever. So we go to the pub. We go to the pub that was. What's that?
We'll pull up behind the hearse, have to back the car up so they can get the coffee.
Something like that. We're already spewing by then. No, but we get dropped off where the wake is being held. We are arriving last again. So we were last, then we were first, and now we are last to arrive at the pub that is called the First and the Last. Oh man, so we walk in and everybody wants to know that there were still some sandwiches left, thank goodness, because we were hungry by then. But we were sitting on the forest lawn, not far from where, the fresh patch, but we were looking at all of the tombstones and the names on them and the numbers, the years. And there was somebody that we were looking at that was died on your birthday. It was all rather amazing. And then we had the conversation with the woman who was pushing the pram, walking through the cemetery with her children.
Can you imagine that?
So we were having a conversation.
What do you do on weekends? Oh, we go with the kids and stroll through the local cemetery.
Yeah, we have a picnic at the local cemetery while waiting for a tow truck.
A couple of cane tows.
Oh dear. Anyway, so we're up to 90. We've got to get out of here. We're way over time now.
See you later.
Yeah, I hope you've had fun, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for the Go Lightly martial art. Let me do the.
Oh, bugger that.
No. Wait on. We've got to hear the choir. This is the. Here we go.
The Go Lightly martial art on freedomtalkradio.net.
I've got you singing American Trilogy. Oh, well, that'll be tomorrow. Okay, back tomorrow. We'll have you singing. Okay, later, Gators. Thank you for coming over to the chat room.